this lane was probably installed.
There was a sleep in between, but nothing changes. Svensson, sensational again.
Well, the big man has everything going his way so far. Just look at the enormous amount of power that he creates, and that ball shows no respect for those 3-pound, 6-ounce pins. And Kyle up in the 8th frame needs to keep striking and hope that something unfortunate befalls Jesper Svensson.
You get the feeling this is pretty much over.
Well, yeah, that shot was just not what Kyle was looking for. And unfortunately for him, he pays maximum penalty in this. Jesper doing exactly what he needs to do to close this one out. Hit the 1-2 pocket and make your spares.
Well, history repeating itself from last night.
I'm blaming you two for that one. That's all on you two. I didn't say about missing spares. I didn't want to say anything about us being more comfortable about it. But yeah, you couldn't help yourselves, could you?
Dom, do you think if Jesper feels the current ball he's using, pitch black, do you think he tries the pitch blue in the fifth?
We've had this before where we sat down with like, Jesper, how can we help you? What can we do? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And so unique what he does. Like as right-handers, especially on Matt, I think you think a little bit more like us do as well. That
A change to the script.
Well, a little bit, Phil. We see, we saw at the end of the last match, we saw Jesper go 7-pin, 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 and I think this was just an overcompensation for that. He wanted to slow down his speed. Looks like he tried to make that ball come up into the pocket a little more to carry that 7-pin, and in doing so, he went right through the face for a almost unmakeable spin.
Yeah, we spoke about it towards the end of the game. You're right there, Matt.
Svensson was brilliant in the doubles last year. He contributed 9 points in total, 4 in singles, 5 in doubles. But right now, Kyle Troup has a chance to put the Americans well ahead.
And Kyle just absolutely bewildered by this shot. He thought this shot was just dead perfect, and you can see how early that ball started up and started its roll phase. Just way too early, but he feels like if he gives it any more room or tries to force it through that spot, he's going to leave a 10-pin.
Yeah, you're definitely right there, Matt. With the extra length and the pattern, 2 extra feet in yesterday's session. If you get it right earlier, it's going to face up and go. It'll literally do that. It'll face up really too quick and go forward into the head pin.
Kyle Troup, the #1 player in the world, needs to put together all that confidence, all that experience, everything that's been going right here in 2021 for him. He needs to put that all together right now and put a strike up on the board.
Yeah, he's definitely blended out the lane pattern well here, especially for this game, that's for sure.
All of that means it's a 21-pin lead for the USA with just a couple of frames remaining.
Pretty much going to be all over unless something extremely weird happens.
Well, of course, Stu Williams remains out there in the next match in a singles contest against Anthony Simonsen in a repeat of their meeting last night. So he now knows what to expect.
Great job, fellas. Great job.
Definitely, and the Americans get the much-needed point and really on a reprieve from the team of Stu Williams and Jesper Svensson. Certainly didn't expect them to shoot 213 with all the momentum that especially Jesper's had coming into this match, but Jesper's reaction wavered a little, Stu's wavered a little. They just couldn't really get it together, and Chris Barnes, Kyle Troop able to put together a few more strikes.
I think even if you take out Stu's mishap with the Brooklyn, I feel like they were extremely close to shooting and getting close to 240, 250 that the Americans just shot there.
When it gets to the 1-3 pocket, and it certainly did, slapping the 10 out.
Yeah, with his lower rev rate, it allows him to kind of float the ball through the front part of the lane a little bit easier, so not having to be as far left as Simonson is here.
Come on, give this a run. Let's go.
Well, you see Anthony's ball drifting high. It looks like he got it right into the dry a little early, which caused the ball to overhook. And unfortunately, leaving the 4, 7, and 9.
Unbelievably bad break. Actually making contact with the 9 pin, but it's not falling over.
Watch the replay again. This happened yesterday. The 4 slid in front of the 9 again.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing you'll see when you're trying to force a ball to strike a bit, when you feel like you have to get a ball to a certain spot. And then, you know, the one that gets all the way through it doesn't, you know, that ball's never going to make it from the corner. So interesting to see what he does, you know, after this spare attempt. And you know, we've seen some pins flying around, so this is definitely makeable.
Chris, in this world scoring system with count so important, if you're in Stu's position, do you just take the count here, or you try to go for it?
Well, you get 2 here. So you get 1. I mean, so right there, if you get 2, you know, you're down in count. But I mean, it's hard to try to go for 3, obviously, in that one. But you know, you get the 2, you're still down the pen. But it could, I mean, it could come into play a little bit later to where, you know, if Simo gets, you know, a 9 spare, or maybe he gets an 8 spare, and Simo, or every pin you can. Big break there. I'm not sure if he said not bad or that was bad, but that wasn't his best effort off his hand.
Well, that's what we call a leaner over in America. He just gets the 6 pin to lean on the 10 from the flat gutter, and it couldn't have come at a more opportune time for Team USA. And
Expensive for Williams.
well, Anthony a bit errant in that shot, getting 5. This match not over. He needs to get 2 of these pins.
Yeah, trying to keep it a bit interesting up here for us in the booth. Listen, like you said earlier, pins flying around a little bit. It's a little showing off there to finish that match, but he definitely was going to make sure that he got the 3 he needed, and you know, a little extra bonus there.
That was his pin number, finishing in.
Much better speed, too.
Wow, really good shot here by Tom Doherty. Going a little slower on the speed, trying to let that ball face up. And Jesper, I don't know about you, it just seems like the half pocket hits here haven't been carrying as well.
Yeah, there you can see how cool bowling can be sometimes, because I'm pretty positive that he's more happy about that shot than the previous one he played. That got a light mixer.
you know, it's the same old story. We had 7 of them last night, 2 already this evening.
It counts one way or another. Even if you can give some information to your teammates, it's always a positive thing to throw quality shots all the way down the stretch, even if the game is over.
Richie Teese tripping the 4. Back home, we always say when you're tripping the 4, you gotta get the bowler a cup of coffee for that sweet roll. And that is just so sweet off his hand. I've always said, Jesper, when you're rolling it good, that's when you create those kind of breaks.
Yeah, you're definitely right, Matt.
Oh, what a shame.
Well, another great shot by Thomas Larsson. This ball just getting a little behind the head pin. The 5 just in front of the 7. 9 times out of 10, that 5 hits the 7. A bad break, but nonetheless, a convincing victory for the Europeans to put them up 7-5. Simonson putting it on Captain Dom Barrett in the early goings here. Let's see if Dom can figure this one out.
And you could see he went for the grip and rip that him and Stu were discussing. A big move left. I believe that was just a little wide of target. I think that was probably the right move, just a little miss to the right. He is the dominator.
Taking the words right out of Phil Yates' mouth.
And this is the kind of bowling that gets the crowd fired up and maybe gets Dom Barrett fired up. It was badly required.
I'm not picking it out for that one. That messenger was a little bit slower, but hey, it still counts. All 10 pins down.
This shot locks up the match for Anthony Simonson and sets up the stage for his second perfect game here at the Weber Cup. And really for Anthony Simonson,
I believe Dom bowled very quickly that frame to get out of the way to give all the courtesy to Simonson here.
absolutely, for this young man, a measure of a lifetime of practice and dedication is going to be taken on this shot. He stands upon the precipice of having his second perfect game here on the Weber Cup lane.
Came within a pin of perfection.
And the crowd here up on their feet, deservedly so, for Anthony Simonson. Well, let's see if Richie Teese can keep that soft hand going.
That one was a little bit more than just on the precipice of going flat. There's been some racks that have been a touch off here too, and that looked like it.
Dom's going to spare it. We'll be right. Take it off.
You can hear Stu in the background. He says Dom's going to spare it, and he's probably not wrong. We have a camera there in the back, and it's made the pins bounce around a little bit more, and we've kind of been waiting for it already, other than Simonson's, which didn't impact a match. This is the first time they could.
Eerily close. We've seen the pins bouncing around, coming back onto the pin deck, but nothing is connected.
Actually cut it a little too much. And
Chris, with power like that, it's got to make you feel like your job isn't that hard as leader of this team.
You'd think, and yet we're so behind. So either I'm really bad at my job, or maybe this is they're making it a lot harder than we think. This pattern is a longer version of yesterday. Wow, longer version of yesterday, and then also the lane doesn't really get super easy, and they liked them a little bit dirty. I think they feel like their advantage is keeping their hands soft, keeping the ball online more often, and keeping the scores down a little bit. And I don't blame them for the strategy because it paid off last night. Now you can see that had been just barely missing. That's got to push.
I'll tell you what, Chris, your heart must have been in your mouth there.
I didn't really want to see that. I mean, it would have been a big turnaround once again. A match where if he strikes, you're up 30 with 2 frames to go. Who? What? What?
Speaking of big shots.
So that is that. And you have Chris Barnes parity.
Yes, we're finally back to square, and we're square with Jesper having bowled twice already. So, anytime you can win a session where Jesper, or get back to square where Jesper has bowled as much as he has. Now he still has 1 match left, and we're going to have to find a way to, at some point, we're going to have to steal some games off Jesper. Been very dominant. So. Hats off to Chris 5. Fantastic shot in the 9th to make this shot irrelevant. And Anthony Simonson, who is without a doubt our MVP through at this point. He is bowled fantastic today. Asked him to bowl 3 times, won all 3, and was a big part of all of them.
Absolutely, Chris. You said it best. He couldn't have turned in a bigger performance when you guys absolutely needed one against the ropes just a little bit here. As Stu said, we be interesting to see on this shot if Doherty overcorrects.
Nostradamus himself.
Spared up.
Well, Tom made sure to feed this ball to the right, getting behind the head pin. Just not enough impotence on the 6 to turn in a bigger performance when you guys absolutely needed one against the ropes just a little bit here. As Stu said, we be interesting to see on this shot if Doherty overcorrects.
Nostradamus himself.
Spared up.
Well, Tom made sure to feed this ball to the right, getting behind the head pin. Just not enough impotence on the 6 to get the 10 out. And that breaks the string at 5.
All right, Matt, you've got to pray for me here. I just convinced Jesper to change ball from the commentary booth, so please pray for me. If you see a death stare come to the commentary booth, you'll know why.
That's what we like to see, interaction from behind the microphone.
Well, Stu on double duty, not only providing us with the commentary here in the booth, but ball repping his teammate out on the lanes. Let's see if this ball change is a good one.
Okay, I'm dead.
I'll get your coat.
Might need to get that coat. Get out of here.
this ball proving to be not quite right as he leaves his third 7-pin of the match.
A strike here, and it's mathematically over.
Tom Doherty stepping up and delivering another point for the Americans.
Yeah, he's providing the spark that Kyle Troup has.
He needs to open up the pocket, and Tom is very good at doing that.
Well, Chris just cutting this shot off short, definitely not getting it far enough right. Do you think the messenger had a little to do with that? He wanted to try to help it back?
Yeah, I think so. And then him knowing that the urethane ball has been going down the lane, just want to make sure that it comes off the spot, as you can see he did there.
Well, at least damage limited. Well, at least that last pin over has made life easier, much easier.
Absolutely, Phil. The last pin to go was the 10. If it stands, Thomas is looking at the 7-10, but instead he has a makeable spare in just the 7. Very, very fortunate to get that 10 pin out when he did.
I tell you what, that was close. You had one earlier, Anthony. Don't think we didn't notice.
Fortunately enough, it still scores the same no matter how much of the pin you hit it. And that one made mine look like I destroyed the pin.
That's just about as close as you can get. There's that ball have more energy when it reaches the pins.
Yeah, and I think that's an issue that Thomas is running into, is his rev rate just not being quite as high as Chris Vy's. The further left he migrates, the more and more difficult it becomes for his ball to go. As you can see, there's just pinched too far to the right. Really just trying to get it to come off the spot a little bit harder, and I'm not too convinced with this particular ball that I'm seeing for Thomas.
Yeah, it seemed Thomas kind of has backed himself into a corner here. He's gotten perhaps a little too far left, a little too steep for his rev rate and for the ball he's chosen to throw.
That could be a game changer, not just in the context of this singles, but the entire match.
Yeah, we felt it was very important to at least in this session even. Another good shot here by Vi. We will have completed the mission for the day.
Strike here, it's Lockjaw.
That was a pretty good one right there.
They say, don't they, that cream rises to the top, and when you look at the ranking situation within the USA team, perhaps this was inevitable.